So to blame one person would be disingenuous and lazy.
What toss? A loss is a loss.
You lost 4-0. You lost by an innings under Dhoni.
As a red ball coach, Gautam Gambhir should be sacked.
It was more of a political backing that he got this job.
आई थिंक नवंबर का महीना है और नवंबर में एक ऐसा दिन भी आता है जो 2023 के अगर मैं पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं आया था, और वो ऐसा दिन है जो इंडियन क्रिकेट फैंस बिल्कुल भी याद नहीं रखना चाहते। उस दिन हम सबको पता है कि ट्रेविस हेड ने क्या किया था, और इट्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट रेचिड डेज इन इंडियन क्रिकेट, 19 नवंबर टू बी स्पेसिफिक। आई थिंक वो एक ऐसा इकलौता दिन था जब हमारे जो फैन क्लब्स भी हैं ना, जो बहुत ज़्यादा टॉक्सिक हैं, रोको फैन क्लब्स और ये सब, वो भी आई थिंक एक साथ सारे आके रो ही रहे थे, परेशान थे, क्योंकि उनको पता था कि इंडिया जीता तो है नहीं। आई थिंक वहाँ से इंडियन क्रिकेट बहुत आगे बढ़ चुका है। T20 वर्ल्ड कप आ गया, चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी आ गई, और अब एक ऐसी सिचुएशन आ गई है कि अंडर गुरु गौतम गंभीर इंडिया ने एक डाउनफॉल कहीं ना कहीं फेस किया है। टेस्ट क्रिकेट में एट होम जहां पे इंडिया बहुत अच्छा कर रहा था, 7-8 साल के गैप में इंडिया ने मुश्किल से इक्का दुक्का टेस्ट मैच हारा था, वहां पे तो एक ऐसी अब सिचुएशन आ गई है कि आप एक सीरीज भी हार चुके हो, और अब वो एक्सक्यूज भी नहीं रहा कि इतने 10-12 साल में एक सीरीज हारना तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, और अब तो ऐसा हुआ कि 120 भी चेज नहीं हो पाए। तो सारा का सारा सवाल अब यही उठता है कि क्या इंडिया को टेस्ट क्रिकेट में लीडरशिप में चेंज चाहिए या फिर करंट मैनेजमेंट के साथ परसिस्ट करना पड़ेगा। वेलकम एवरीवन टू द थर्ड एपिसोड ऑफ द क्रिकेट कोर्ट। आई एम सिद्धार्थ गुलाटी, योर होस्ट, and I'm joined by Mahesh Kuti, who is going to be the judge of this episode once again. There are going to be two lawyers, Bhash Mankan, there's going to be Rachit Devetia, and in jury we have Subhajit Mustafi, Akash Srivastav, and our very own and beloved Venugopal Rajgopalan. So, अदालत की कार्रवाई शुरू की जाए, महेश जी?
Let the court proceedings begin.
Great. So, I think I'll fire a bullet straight away. भाई मैं तो बहुत पिस्ड ऑफ हूँ, सीरियसली मेरे को तो बहुत गुस्सा आया हुआ है। आप अगर एक एवरेज साउथ अफ्रीकन टीम के साथ भी 124 नहीं चेस कर पा रहे तो फिर तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम है। अब मैं मानता हूँ कि वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियंस हैं, लेकिन स्टिल चेज नहीं कर पाए, लेकिन स्टिल मैं उनको एवरेज कह रहा हूँ, क्योंकि करंट कंडीशंस में उनके कितने ऐसे प्लेयर्स हैं जो नए हैं, जिनको शायद स्पिन उतना अच्छा खेलना आता भी नहीं, लेकिन स्टिल वो बेटर कर गए और इंडिया से जीत गए। माई ओनली पॉइंट इज कि एक ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम थी लेट 90s अर्ली 2000s की, जो तोड़ खेलती थी, और थोड़ा सा भी अगर उनका ब्लिप आता था ना तो इमीडिएट कैप्टनसी चेंज होती थी या इमीडिएट कोचिंग चेंज होती थी। स्टीव वॉग गया, रिकी पॉन्टिंग गया, माइकल क्लार्क गया, देयर वर मेनी प्लेयर्स हु जस्ट वेंट, उनको बोल दिया गया कि उनको जाना है। नाउ वंस अगेन अगर हम यहाँ पे ये बात कह रहे हैं कि इफ गौतम गंभीर इज द मैन हु इज रनिंग द शो, और आपने पिछले 1-1.25 साल में घर में आपका जो रिकॉर्ड है वो काफी पुअर रहा है, स्टार्टिंग विद द न्यूजीलैंड सीरीज, then is it time for a change? Now, if you ask me personally, I wouldn't say yes, but I will contemplate about it. And that's the question that I will throw open to both the lawyers here, and we can start with maybe Bhash Mankan.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you very much. So I think you hit the nail on the head with it was a slightly rhetorical question where you said that the players can't chase 124. So part of the answer is lies in your question itself. Right. When a team of 11 players can't chase 124 and 150 on whatever tracks there may be, I think a lot of course, I'm not stating that Gautam Gambhir is not responsible for that, but I think the players have to look within, and I think it is a failure on the part of the entire team. So, how I would like to, state what I feel about the whole situation is that we'll have to look at a little bit of history, as you spoke about the Australian teams of the 90s and 2000s. At that point of time, the quality of spin bowling, which India enjoyed in Anil Kumble, Harbhajan Singh, Ashwin and Jadeja at their peak, was far, far superior than any spin bowler that came to the Indian subcontinent. as you can see in the last couple of years, what has happened is with a Mitchell Santner and a Keshav Maharaj, the gap even on a good batting track, the gap has somehow narrowed down. And Akshar Patel and Washington Sundar are yet to make their mark in Test cricket as spinners. So I think we need to have some sense of perspective here. Gambhir took up a team in transition. And let's look at, I'll just make a very brief point of the 4 losses that we have had. The first loss was entirely on the captain, who made a silly decision at Bangalore to bat first on a green top. So the first loss, and we did reasonably well in the second innings when conditions were equal. The second loss was again in Pune, where Santner, you scored better in the second innings in the fourth innings as compared to the first innings where you miserably failed against Santner. I can understand that if it was a dust bowl. At Wankhede again, you had a lead of 30 runs at Wankhede and Eden. You had a lead of 30 runs in both matches, and then just failed to chase down the score. Which, if your batsman had a better technique against spin, I think Sunil Gavaskar also alluded to it in the post-match, as well as Gambhir. I think we could have done better. So to blame one person would be disingenuous and lazy.
I am
I
sorry.
think it's
I'm sorry if I'm not wrong. You were the same person who said this thing in the other episode, in the second episode that we specifically did. You had that great monologue of MS Dhoni that he should go and himself or whatever it is that you said. Now that way, you said that he is the one who was responsible for all the losses that India had at crucial times. Now in this particular episode, you are saying that one person cannot be held accountable. Now I'm not
Correct.
sure what is more
So
crazy in this case.
So there's a distinction. Under Dhoni, we never competed. Here we have had losses of at least 20 runs, 30 runs.
No,
All the
Never
matches
matter.
have been
Loss is a
competed.
loss.
Sorry,
beg
and
to
another
differ
thing is
here.
Dhoni has been a player. Gautam Gambhir is the coach. Gautam Gambhir cannot bat on your behalf. Gautam Gambhir cannot field, and Gautam Gambhir cannot bowl on your behalf. So by blaming just one person for all the ills that plague Indian cricket is extremely dishonest. Dhoni in 2012-13 had a free reign with a pliant administrator, a pliant selector, and extremely compromised office bearers of Indian cricket. I'll leave it to that. So Dhoni was responsible, and Fletcher, who was like a putla. So let's have some perspective that comparing Gambhir over 4 matches as compared to Dhoni and abroad, we did do very well as a young team, and we drew the series to 2-2, and it was a very competitive series. The rub of the green didn't go our way with 5 tosses going against us.
But we
I
lost
think let's have
4-0
some
already
sense of
now in
perspective.
India.
What toss? A loss is a loss.
Yeah.
Toss उस time पे
What
matter.
loss?
Arey bhai, I'm talking
Yeah.
about England. You lost 4-0. You lost by an innings under Dhoni. You didn't even compete in one match in England and Australia. There was not even one match where you could have even done.
What happened to the remaining 10 players?
So there, a captain at that point of time, the captain and the coach, both, he got in RP Singh. There were so many inherent mistakes in selection where it was so glaring that you didn't even have players who could take 20 wickets. He got in his Ritti Sports Kotri, who were not test bowlers according to me.
Okay, Rajit,
And
tell what do
he-
you think about Gautam Gambhir?
I think the discussion here is let's move on to Dhoni. I mean, obviously he's the most loud guy of this group, so obviously the discussion will go here after Dhoni. But let me put certain things into perspective. Fine, Dhoni was abysmal Test captain abroad. Yes, we lost 4-0 to Australia, 4-0 to England, but both were away series. Okay? But if you look at our record at home from 2011 to 2023, that is good 12 years. We won 41 Test matches and we lost only 5. Now that's some solid record. Teams coming to India, they feared India. To beat India in India, you have to have a solid game plan, and we were just invincible. Be it under Dhoni, okay, fine. Since we are touched upon Dhoni, let me touch upon the 2013 series against Australia, Border Gavaskar Trophy, where it was a 4-test series. India was kind of in transition. Out of the Fab Four, only Sachin was left. Yet India won that series 4-0. Now that is not a small achievement. Sachin, in fact, in that series contributed with only one half century. We had Shikhar Dhawan debut at Mohali. So we were invincible at home. And what has happened since Gautam Gambhir has taken over? He has been the coach for around 8 Test matches at home, and we have lost 4 with the most humiliating defeat in the history of Indian Test cricket with a 3-0 whitewash against New Zealand.
Rajat,
Gautam Gambhir,
should Gautam
with all
Gambhir be
due
sacked?
respect,
Should Gautam Gambhir be sacked?
yeah, my limited point is he has done. I'll give credit to him. I'll give credit to him in white ball. But again, when I say white ball, it's a broader term. I'm covering ODIs as well. ODIs, I still feel, except Champions Trophy, he has done nothing. But yeah, we cannot have 3 coaches. So Gautam Gambhir, in my view, should continue as a white ball coach. But as a red ball coach, Gautam Gambhir should be sacked. Now, why I say he should be sacked? Because see, for all reasons, we know that he is the one who has come with a lot of power. Okay, he has got the team. I mean, for all reasons. I mean, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli have retired, moved away from 2 formats. They are playing only ODI, so they are not there in Test cricket. They are not playing Test cricket anymore. So in a way, Gautam Gambhir has got the team that he wants. So he definitely is a person who is in power, and if somebody is in power, he should definitely be held accountable. And in my view, he has been a very, very poor coach when it comes to red ball cricket. In my limited submission, he should be sacked as a red ball coach with after this home series against South Africa. He should not be the red ball coach.
I think, yeah, let's just move on to the jury now. Let's start with Subhajit. What do you think about all the perspectives that have been shared by both, Bhash and Rajat? How much merit do you feel is in it?
I completely agree with Rajat that I believe it's time to move on from Gautam Gambhir as the red ball coach. First and foremost, what's the role of a coach? I mean, आप spin bowling इनको खेलना सिखा रहे हो? नहीं सिखा रहे हो. You have to have a reality check. If you cannot play spin bowling, why would you ask for spinning tracks? Which I think pretty much Saurav Ganguly cleared in his interview very smartly. And Gautam Gambhir also in the press conference, he acknowledged that he had asked for tracks of those sort. फिर I hear this argument from a lot of Gautam Gambhir fans that उन्होंने Simon Harmer को underestimate किया. Again, what is the role of a coach? What is the team in the dressing room that is not playing on the ground doing? कि अगर आपको ये नहीं पता कि साइमन हार्मर खुद ये बात बोल चुका है कि 2015 में मैं जब आया था आई फेल्ट दैट आई वाज नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड एंड देन ही वेंट टू काउंटी क्रिकेट बिकेम अ लेजेंड दैट 1000+ विकेट्स ही हैज गॉन टेकन एंड इफ यू आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट देन अगेन व्हाट इज योर role? And 4 test matches, 4 test losses at home, and last year at this point of time, I mean just before the New Zealand series, we are comfortably cruising towards a WTC final जो पिछले 2 बार हम क्वालिफाई हो चुके थे and failure to win. फिर अगेन ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जाके कंसीडिंग, आई मीन 10 साल बाद वी गेव अवे द बॉर्डर गावस्कर ट्रॉफी एज वेल टू द टीम. तो सी अगेन, कोच कैन नॉट गो इन द ग्राउंड एंड प्ले क्रिकेट फॉर यू, बट अगेन देन व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ द कोच अगर कोच की कोई गलती नहीं है. एंड अनदर डिफेंस दैट गंभीर फैंस कीप थ्रोइंग अप सेइंग कि 2-2 करके हम इंग्लैंड में आए हैं. I think that 2-2, I mean, kudos to Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna for that particular bowling partnership. So we just narrowly managed to sneak a win. I'm not happy with what India achieved in that tour because the tracks were pretty flat. They were the best batting conditions. And I don't think that, we were really a very, very young team. And some of the decision making has been very baffling. जैसे अगेन गोइंग बैक टू द इंग्लैंड सीरीज, ये एक टेस्ट मैच की मैं बात नहीं करूँगा कि सिर्फ साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ जो हारे हैं. इंग्लैंड में लाइक सपोज व्हेन वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम ऑफ 90s एंड 2000s, सपोज यू हैव अ गाय लाइक अ शेन वॉर्न, आप क्या करोगे? आप यान हार्वी को लेके आओगे खिलाने के लिए, उसको बैटिंग थोड़ी सी बेटर आती है शेन वॉर्न से और बॉलिंग में विकेट ले सकता है, या आप बोलोगे कि नहीं ठीक है चलो शेनवान भी अच्छी बैटिंग करता था बट आई एम प्रीटी श्योर दैट शेनवान वाज नेवर पिक्ड ऑन हिज बैटिंग स्किल्स ओवर हिज बॉलिंग. फॉर मी राइट नाउ टू कंपेयर कुलदीप यादव एंड शेनवान, आई नो इट्स स्ट्रेच, बट बंदे ने खेला कितना है, 16-17 टेस्ट मैचेस खेला है, 20-21 का बॉलिंग एवरेज है, wherever he has played he has done well. So you're not giving him an opportunity. आपके पास एक एक्स फैक्टर था जिसने आपको इंग्लैंड सीरीज 2023 में ऑन मच बेटर ट्रैक्स उसने जिताए थे होम में. यू चोज 5 टेस्ट में आप मैं नहीं खिलाऊंगा. एंड दिस इज वेरी क्लियर कि गौतम गंभीर इज अ गाय हु इज कॉलिंग ऑल द शॉट्स. ही इज प्लेड विथ 3 डिफरेंट टेस्ट कैप्टन्स नाउ. और इट इज वेरी क्लियर वो जो बोल रहा है बीसीसीआई इज लिसनिंग टू इट, वो स्टार कल्चर खत्म करना है जो कुछ भी, तो ही इज बीन गिवन अ कंप्लीटली फ्री विल. तो अगर उसके बाद भी रिजल्ट्स नहीं आ रहे हैं और इस बार भी वी आर इन अ वेरी वेरी ट्रिकी सिचुएशन की पता नहीं है कि हम WTC में क्वालिफाई करेंगे या नहीं करेंगे. लास्ट टाइम ही हैड 1 foot ओवर देयर एंड वी स्टिल कुडंट. तो इट्स हाई टाइम दैट वी हैव अ person who is more invested in red ball cricket and we have a coach accordingly. So it's high time we should replace Gautam Gambhir.
ओके, आई थिंक इस केस में जो शुभजीत ने एक बात कही है, काफी हद तक उससे तो यही लगता है कि most of the people here, they are not really in favor of Gambhir continuing as a coach. He's obviously echoing similar sentiments. But I'll just move to Akash here. हम यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं गौतम गंभीर की, बिकॉज जिस तरीके से या तो PR होता है या जिस तरीके से जो न्यूज में चीजें आती हैं, बिकॉज ही इज द वन हु इज ग्रैबिंग ऑल द स्पॉटलाइट. अब यहाँ पे सारा का सारा सवाल यही खड़ा होता है कि क्या इज ही द ओनली वन हु इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल. बिकॉज ठीक है, प्लेयर्स तो अब उन्होंने नहीं अडाप्ट किया तो नहीं अडाप्ट किया, तो क्या यहाँ पे सिलेक्शन कमेटी को भी आई थिंक फिर सारा इक्वली रिस्पॉन्सिबल करना चाहिए. उनको आई थिंक उन पे कोई सवाल नहीं उठ रहा, अजीत अगरकर पे कोई सवाल नहीं उठ रहा. And they are the one who have reportedly given that free hand to Gautam Gambhir. So maybe the problem lies, in that bigger area. Akash?
I think हमें एक चीज पहले याद करनी चाहिए इन सबसे हटके कि these are the best players we have got. Okay, Washington Sundar is a talented guy. He has done well. Then you have Kuldeep Yadav. He was also part of the 11. So it's not that ये हमारे पास स्पिनर नहीं है. अक्षर पटेल was actually the one guy जो कि अभी just वापस आया. He played for India before as well in Test cricket. But I think one thing we all are missing is कि क्या गंभीर को रहना चाहिए नहीं रहना चाहिए. मैं इससे ऊपर की बात बोलता हूँ. I don't think कि गंभीर should have been selected as a Test coach. Start saying. It was more of a political backing that he got this job. And I am very clear with it कि he should not have been the test coach day one से. उसका रीजन मैं बताता हूँ. जिस बंदे ने कभी खुद कोई रेड बॉल की टीम की कोचिंग नहीं करी, वो इंडिया का टेस्ट कोच कैसे बन सकता है? You did not have the credentials. You lost 3 matches to New Zealand. Okay, as Bhash said, you cannot blame one guy. I agree, you cannot blame one guy. But we are not concerned with यार कि किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. We are concerned with कि इंडिया जीत रहा है कि हार रहा है. इंडिया हार रहा है इस टाइम. ये सीरीज भी we cannot win. This is a 2-match test series. This is not a 3-match test series. You cannot come back now. So are we gonna celebrate another draw? 2-2 तो हम लोग ऐसे सेलिब्रेट कर रहे थे, वो तो ऐसे उछल रहे थे कि वर्ल्ड कप गंभीर नहीं जीत लिया हो. So I think our standards have fallen. We have to remind ourselves that we have got the best players in the world. We have the richest league in the world. इतना पैसा है, इतना टैलेंट है, सब कुछ है हमारे पास, और हम लोग WTC फाइनल तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहे. शर्म की बात है यार. मतलब there should not be any discussion in my opinion कि he has failed as a test coach. अगर आप डिलीवरी का देखें, the one thing that he has succeeded कि he has given some opportunities to players like Nitish Reddy, Gautam Gambhir, Washington Sundar, and also now he's trying Sai Sudarshan as well. So I agree, he is giving some opportunities. It's fine, very good. He is playing, like थोड़ा और brave calls ले रहा है, जो कि Rahul Dravid used to be very very like subdued. He was not really trying that much, until and unless जब तक player injured नहीं होता था. You got injuries, then only he went for replacements. So I like Gambhir कि हाँ ठीक है, he gives chances to some new guys, but I don't think he has any vision for the test team. He is just doing a hit and trial kind of thing. एक सीरीज में वो साई सुदर्शन को नंबर 3 खिलाएगा, अगले में सुंदर खिलाएगा, उसके बाद पता नहीं किसको खिला ले. I do not want this kind of guy who is learning on the job. I want someone like Jason Gillespie, someone like Gary Custer. आप इंडिया की टीम को नंबर 1 टीम बनाना चाहते हो, नंबर 1 ऐसे नहीं जो हर जगह जीते, in every country. I do not want a guy who is struggling to win at home. I want a guy who can win us the series in England, Australia, South Africa, everywhere, because we have got the best team. There's no doubt about it. in my opinion, कि हमारे पास इतने अच्छे खिलाड़ी हैं जो future legends हैं. There's no doubt. So I don't think there should be any debate regarding the red ball.
That's fine. I think which brings me to the point, and I think I'll come to Venu for this. एक बात हम जो कहते हैं कि कोहली की टीम के लिए, you know, there were a lot of lions in that team. मतलब वो एक मेंटालिटी मॉन्स्टर वाला आपके पास एक कैप्टन था, जिसकी वजह से 6-7 साल तक आपका जो टेस्ट क्रिकेट में ना सिर्फ आपकी प्रतिष्ठा बची रही थी, बट एट द वेरी सेम टाइम आपने इवन द बेस्ट ऑफ द टीम्स को भी सुपरसीड किया और वहां पे आप जीत के आए थे. ठीक है, यहाँ पे एक बात ऐसी होती है कि आपका जो कोच है वो बाहर से तो दिखाता है कि वो बहुत आउटस्पोकन है एंड सारी चीजें हैं, ओवल के क्यूरेटर से लड़ाई हो रही है, सारी चीजें हो रही हैं, अब्यूजेस हो रहे हैं. ऑन द अदर हैंड, when it comes to those on-field performances, I'm not really sure if that is really, you know, being put into context. मतलब वो उसमें उस हिसाब से results आपके पास जो हैं वो नहीं आ रहे हैं. तो maybe Gautam Gambhir as a coach, do you think that he lacks that you know, monster mentality which is really required for someone who is coaching India at the top level?
I think you know, I mean, having listened to everybody's you know, comments and points here, मेरे को 2-3 चीजें दिमाग में हैं. Obviously, I'll come to your point as well, the monster mentality. I just feel more than the monster mentality, right now we need somebody who's willing to learn from mistakes. I just feel that the ego is coming in between, and there's a lot of ego in play when it comes to not learning from what happened earlier, right? And there are 2 instances now. And अगर आप देखो last year की England series, not the one which we played in England this year, but the one at home last year, which was probably Dravid's last assignment as you know, India's red ball coach, right? So उसमें अगर आप देखो, and उससे आपने क्या सीखा है, that we did not have any rank turners or, you know, dirty pitches to play on. Even England commentators, Sky commentary panel, Hussain, Atherton, everybody appreciated the quality of wickets that we had on display, right? Games went on till day 4, day 5, and, you know, there was a proper contest. Even there as well, you know, we could kind of dominate England. Of course, we lost in Hyderabad, that's a different thing. But the point is that, you know, why is he not trusting our bowling attack enough? You know, we have the Bumrahs of the world, we have Siraj, we have Kuldeep, right? And now we have upcoming spinners like Washington, we have... you know, all-rounders like Aksar. So I'm sure that there is enough depth in the bowling lineup to not, you know, just rely on rank turners. मेरे को एक चीज यही बात समझ में नहीं आ रही कि, you know, leave everything aside. You know, is his ego not allowing himself to kind of learn from his mistake, which happened last year against New Zealand? That, you know, is it hard to accept that, you know, on a track like that, you know, it kind of evens out the contest, and unke jo bowlers hain, even guys like Simon Harmer or even guys like Keshav Maharaj, with all due respect to them, they are not Shane Warne, they are not Muthiah Muralitharan, right? So why are you creating them to be like that, right? I mean, you kind of even out the playing field. तो मुझे वही लग रहा है कि आप उनको चांस क्यों दे रहे हो. It's similar to how India, when they travel abroad, right? There was a time wherein Indian seamers, they suddenly became monsters on pitches which had assistance for them, right? So then you're evening out the contest. तो मुझे वही लग रहा है कि strategically, I just feel the coach has got it wrong, and he has openly admitted it, which is kind of a big thing to admit in a press conference, which I admire. ठीक है, at least उन्होंने खुद तो बोला कि भाई we want to distract. But the point is, just admit करके फायदा नहीं है. You should learn from your mistakes, right? मेरे को वो लगता है. And secondly, I just felt from a leadership perspective, he kind of threw the players under the bus by saying that we should have chased it down and we failed. But the point is, you wanted that track. Are the players comfortable on playing on those tracks? Is something which we need to answer as a team.
Okay, I think this is where it becomes interesting to go back to Bhash Mankan, you know, our very own beloved lawyer here. That once again, you know, he's at a position wherein, you know, it's one versus all, and he is the one, you know, who is standing with himself for that matter.
Yeah.
Now, almost everyone here, you know, whether you talk about me, Venu, Subhajit, they've raised their points, you know, as to why Gautam Gambhir hasn't really done a good job. And even Rajit has gone on to say this thing, that Gautam Gambhir should be sacked as the coach. Now, what is your defense, you know, when it comes to Gautam Gambhir? Why do you still feel that, you know, he should be persisted with? Like, kitna और problem Indian cricket team के लिए create होगा as far as, you know, test format is concerned? Because any which ways, the results are not coming.
Correct. So आप ये बोल रहे हो कि results are not coming. Now the flaw in the process is that one, you had a captain in Rohit Sharma, who was the captain for the longest period of time and was fairly successful at home along with Dravid, right? After that, when his individual form was on the wane, when Kohli's individual form was on the, you're again blaming the coach when your players were looking shaky. Kohli, it just coincided with Ashwin leaving, Ashwin's individual form being on the win. So I'll just first talk about the New Zealand series, which is the historical low of 3-0. Correct. As I said, Bangalore completely misread by Rohit Sharma. There was there's absolutely no way you can blame the coach in that. Let's have that perspective. The second test in Pune, your spinners were outbowled by Santner. And if you're telling me on this pitch, 4 of your spinners, okay, Washington Sundar didn't bowl, but 3 of your spinners, the truth is that the chasm between a Simon Harmer and a Keshav Maharaj and your spinners, say an Ashwin in his form, would have never allowed a Corbin Bosch or a Babuma to bat through and score the extra 50-60 runs. So I personally believe that our spinning riches are not as great as we perceive it to be. The second point that I want to make is that due to the advent of the IPL, we don't have genuinely, barring Sarfaraz, with whatever I've seen in domestic and in the test match, barring Sarfaraz, we don't have really good players against spin. Pant is again coming back from a injury, so he looked very diffident. But we have really become poor players of spin. Now, if you're telling me that Gautam Gambhir can change that overnight, I'm sure I don't think he can. The logic and the rationale probably was that South Africa, and this is where South Africa chased down a mammoth score of 430 odd runs on a flat track in Bangalore against your A-grade bowling lineup where there was Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, Kuldeep Yadav, and I believe Akashdeep. So it was almost close to your test bowling lineup on a pitch which was a very, very good pitch for batting. So I think there was a method in its madness. There was a logic that let's play 4 spinners. Let's try and catch them on a pitch which would assist. Of course, toss was an issue, and trust our batsmen to get a reasonable total. So I don't think you can throw Gambhir under the bus for that reason. I think this was a risk worth taking. I don't think there was complete, it was not completely bereft of logic, particularly when your own pace battery and your old so-called, and you have I'm sorry to say, but Jasprit Bumrah, we won the test matches in England where Jasprit Bumrah didn't play. So if you're telling me that the Bumrah factor is a very great factor, that's also not true statistically, because you have a pace bowler who, unfortunately, because of his action, breaks down every alternate test. So you can't depend on a Bumrah always. So let's be fair to the man. I think the logic was sound. Picking 4 spinners was also fair. Bringing Washington Sundar at number 3 with his batting prowess was also fair. So I believe that this is a bit of a harsh criticism on Gautam Gambhir alone when your players should have chased down 120 on that pitch. So I think after what had happened at the NCA, after what had happened when lesser batsmen of South Africa scored 400, 380, 370 odd on the last day on a pitch, I think there was some logic to it, and I really don't think. I think that it's on the players, and I really don't think our bowlers bowled and our spinners bowled very well.
सीधी बात है.
If Corbin Bosch,
I think before we come to the final argument, in fact, final thing that's going to be said by the judge, I think when there is a problem in the company, the top brass is the one who gets punished the first. So I'm not sure कि अगर हमको सिर्फ और सिर्फ players को accountable यहाँ पे रखना है, I don't think if that's the right way to go, and that I don't think it may be a valid argument, but I think we have to keep in mind the other factors too.
Correct, and Gill didn't bat. I think there were other factors too. I think this was an aberration.
का क्या factor है यार? वो नहीं.
अरे भाई है.
Batting खत्म
If you are 10 against 11, boss, just a moment. You could not. Today, Chris Wokes, जो हम टेस्ट मैच जीते थे, उसमें क्रिस वोक्स ने बॉलिंग नहीं की और बैटिंग नहीं की. वो 6 रन में भी ये भले 20 रन से आ रहे या 30 रन से आ रहे, वो फर्क पड़ता है, right? If you have a batsman, and particularly when you have a tail which is so poor, where Kuldeep can't score, Bumrah can't score, Siraj can't score, I think losing one batsman in both innings does make a difference.
The problem of Indian batsmen not able to play spin is not a new problem. When there was Kohli, when there was Rohit, Pujara, Rahane, this problem persisted. We struggled even in the England series in 2021 during COVID. We prepared turning tracks, but we struggled. And if you go back to the 2 marquee series after that is against Australia and against England, we played on pretty fair tracks. And when we performed so beautifully on those tracks, and we lost miserably against New Zealand last year 3-0, what was the point of going back to, a designer pitch? There was no reason. And throwing the entire young batting lineup in transition under the bus and then saying that they should have chased it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Gautam Gambhir, as a leader, as a coach, has failed. He should be sacked as a red ball coach.
Okay, I think final thing. Let's just hear the final verdict as to what Mr. Mahesh has to say.
I heard everybody, and I believe that everybody's points are well taken, including Bash's. First question I would ask is whether there is insecurity in the dressing room, because are the players comfortable with Gautam Gambhir? Because if you start losing, the atmosphere in the dressing room is not too good, and with a person like Gautam Gambhir at the helm, may not be as good as what we believe it is. Secondly, he selected the pitch. He believed that the Indian players are much better to play spin than the South Africans, which was proven completely wrong because our players did not know how to play spin bowling. Whereas Bavuma played extremely well on that wicket on that same morning. So things hadn't changed much after that, right? Still, we were not able to do it. And like what Gautam Gambhir said at the press conference, I agree with him that 120 odd runs could have been chased if we had applied ourselves better. Now, having said all that, Gautam Gambhir has got this unique distinction of coaching an IPL team, winning as a captain. So his white ball credentials are pretty good. Okay, we can stretch it from T20 to ODI cricket as well. But in red ball cricket, 3-0 against New Zealand, 3-1 in Australia, we lost 2 matches in England, and now we lost again against South Africa. With that kind of a record, I think that he should be replaced at the earliest, because otherwise things will only get worse. We might go back by about another 15 years.
Yeah, I think that's where the discussion, will continue to happen, because there is no, concrete answer that we can have. We can all obviously, present our arguments, but at the end, we know how crucial is going to be the second test against South Africa. I wouldn't, I would basically go on to say that it could really be, make or break for our Indian cricket team coach, because that's where I think it's not just going to be for our players to step up to the plate. I think it's all going to be down to the coach also to not just be proactive with the emotions, but at the very same time be proactive with the strategy that the Indian cricket team wants to have. Having said that, this is one thing that still remains, and I'm sure that once the South Africa test finishes, there's going to be a different discussion to it, because if India go on to lose this series, even if the second test is a draw, then I think there are going to be question marks over a lot of things. Definitely not on Gill's captaincy because he's still new, but definitely on the coaching of Gautam Gambhir, because he would be that one unique factor in the 2 losses that India would probably have in a span of a year. One with New Zealand, and it could really be potentially against South Africa. So what do you think about Gautam Gambhir's future as the test coach of the Indian team? Tell us your thoughts in the comment section. And do subscribe to the Cricket Court. We are going to bring you all such content relating to Indian cricket and obviously anything and everything happening across the globe. But until then, it's goodbye.